Good morning, everyone. It is Monday morning and I've been on a run today and I want to tell everyone about it because that's what you do when you go on a run, right? So I haven't ran since I think the half marathon in March. And obviously we're now coming towards the end of July. So I have just completely gone off of it. And I think if I don't have a target, I go off of it. But when I have a target, it doesn't work well for me and my body and my mind. So what I need to do is take the pressure off. And I think that I completely did that this morning. And you can also tell, without going into too much detail, you can tell that my little mental health is probably not where it needs to be because I've started really jumping into exercise over the past 2 weeks. I've done reformer Pilates. I've done the gym countless amount of times. I've done classes like my High Rocks type class, which I've also got at lunchtime today. I've been for a run this morning. I went paddleboarding over the weekend. Like, I am jumping into exercise because that's what I like to do when everything's a little bit fuzzy up here. However, like I say, that's not what this vlog is about. I literally did intervals this morning. So 1K break, 1K break, 1K. So 3K in total, and just tried to do it as fast as possible. And someone needs to remind this body that it has run a marathon and a half marathon over the past year and a half because it seems to have forgotten that. But like I say, there's no pressure. So we're taking it off. So that's one run done this week. If I do another one, great. Otherwise, I'll do another one next week. And I am 100% going to stay consistent, even if it's just a baseline, 5K, just to keep my body moving in that way, because I love being outside in the summer in the morning. Obviously, I've got a treadmill in the office, which I will use when it gets colder, a fair weather runner. But yeah, so I'm feeling really positive, and like I say, I wanted to talk about it. So there is a theme for this vlog this week, but right now I'm not ready. I'm not ready. That sounds so deep. I'm not in a position to talk about it because I need to crack on with some work, and because this morning's been all a little bit of a rush, I need to crack on with some work, and then I will explain it to you a little bit later. So I will see you very soon. Hello everyone, good morning. It is now the next day, and this vlog, as I said, normally I would do a weekly vlog and show you my week in the life, etc. But there's just a few topics of conversation that I feel that best suits this vlog. So we obviously started off with the running and introducing that, and I mentioned about sort of the way my mind was a little bit. And the second thing I want to talk about, which I haven't spoken about this whole time, I've alluded to it, and I don't know whether, it depends how long you've watched the vlogs, but I've mentioned about a singular client that basically completely effed me over. And I've not been wanting to do anything about it because I've just continuously given the benefit of the doubt. And sometimes in life, and sometimes when you're running a business, you've got to look at someone being genuine and taking them for their word, and then realizing that they're actually just taking the mick out of you. So basically this client came on at towards the end of last year. It was in October time that we started working with them. And frustratingly, if I was to watch back a vlog when we signed the client, I was absolutely buzzing because it was a brand that I'd not heard of before, but after looking into them, they were legitimate. I loved the product. The owner was really nice, obviously, or so I thought, and I think they are. I just think that they don't necessarily know how to run a business, and unfortunately I then got hurt by it or whatever. So when it came on board, they signed a contract. So thankfully I have a contract in place, and they signed it to say all the payment terms, all the deliverables. So that's one thing that I will always recommend, is making sure that any prospective client or client that comes on board signs a contract so that they know what services you're going to deliver, as well as you know, because it just gives you that benchmark to work across. And they know your payment terms, they know your T's and C's, etc., and they sign on the dotted line. Once you've got that, it means that then if this situation does happen, you have a little bit of ammunition. Whereas I've had it before where I've not got clients to sign anything, and that's kind of the end of it, really. You can't really do a lot from there. Anyway, so at first it was, can we split the payments up? The monthly fee was 3.5k, so £3,500, and that was all signed off and everything. We'd gone back and forth a little bit on that, but after deciding what deliverables needed, we decided to land on £3,500, and that was absolutely fine. And she said to me, basically, can you split up the payments? Can we do a payment every 2 weeks rather than one bulk one a month? Which obviously at first I was like a little bit of a red flag, but that's okay. I can be flexible. Let's do this. So we did October. You can see what's coming, can't you? Did October, did November, did December. And by that point, I was like, I need to get paid a little bit. And there was a lot of sob stories, and bearing in mind, this was over service. So there's the service deliverables, and then there was, I can't even think about it, hundreds of hours worth of consultancy hours, that jumping on calls late at night, giving advice on this, jumping on calls with other people that she'd got on board with it. They probably haven't got paid either. And I can't remember the conversation, but basically I was like, if you can settle this by X date, then I will make sure, like, I will wipe, I don't know, it was like half, or like we only worked half of December, so I like wiped like the 1750 or whatever it was, right? I don't know if this is making sense. I'm hoping so. When I watch this back, I'm hoping it makes sense, because I'm just blabbing. Anyway, so time has passed. I think on my zero, it's like 240 something days. So I need to address this. It's coming to my end of financial year, so I think that this is a good time to do it. I've been putting it off for ages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send an email, and it's going to, because a lot of our correspondence, I mean, obviously it has been on email as well, but a lot of it is like via WhatsApp or phone calls, but she'll just talk me down. So I need to send an email, a very professional, strongly worded email with a payment document on that basically I just get from Xero. So it says what a client owes you, and just send that over with a spiel. And then I'll also send over the contract as well, and just basically say that if you don't pay this, or at least pay some towards it, then I will be taking you to a small claims court, or whatever that looks like. And like I say, I never want it to come to this, but I see things on LinkedIn all the time about small businesses being screwed over by massive corporations. And this isn't a massive corporation, but she's someone that is doing business and actively selling and on Amazon and working with partners. And it's like, do you just not respect my time that much that you're gonna not pay me for stuff that I have done? And also, what makes matters worse is that it's not just me that works on clients, it's a team. So I've actually lost money. I've lost thousands of pounds on this. So I am pissed off, very pissed off. And it's taken me to this point, like I say, to address it. But that's part of the whole imposter syndrome and such like that. So I'm going to deal with that, and I will let you know probably through a weekly vlog what that looks like and what's happened with that. But the reason that this has definitely come up now is because I was speaking to someone the other day, and they said to me, I was talking about what I'm going to talk to you about in the third segment, and they said, well, you need to make sure that any money is recouped, because you're trying to get this X amount of business over the next X amount of months, but if this was recouped, then that sort of replaces some anyway. And I was like, yeah, this makes sense, because £7,000 is not a small amount of money to just sort of be like, oh, that's fine, don't pay me, don't worry about it, you keep that £7,000. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to chat to you again tomorrow about the third and final thing, so stick with me, and yeah, wish me luck. I'm going to literally go back and send this email right now. So I will chat to you later. Good morning, everyone. It's now Wednesday morning, and today we've taken a little bit of a change because I wasn't meant to be I was meant to be in the office today. When I say the office, I mean my home office. But I'm actually heading over to meet with a client because something very exciting is happening with them at the moment, and hopefully, definitely I'll be involved in some capacity, but sort of what that capacity looks like, we get to have a chat about. So I'm heading over to see what's going on and to chat about what everything looks like moving forward. So let's go see how this goes. I will jump back on afterwards, or I'll jump on while I'm there, or I'll get him to tell you, but I will explain. And then the idea is I'm going to come home. I've actually ended up being super busy this morning. So the time is now about 9:45, I think. I've been working since 7:30. But emails just keep coming in. Like people are working really early this morning. So my mind is a little bit full. So I need to clear that on the drive, go have a good meeting, and then come back this afternoon, finish off a bunch of stuff. And then I really want to edit this. I need to talk to you about something else, about the final thing that I keep saying. And then I need to edit it and get it live so that I'm not missing too many weeks at the moment. So anyway, enough jabbering, whatever the word is. I will see you when I get to my destination. Hello everyone, so I realised when I was there I didn't actually talk to the camera. However, you would have seen the office that looked in a bit of upheaval, because it is. So it's going through a bit of a transformation at the moment. There's going to be meeting rooms and a podcast studio. So I just went to have a little look at that, and then a meeting with the owner afterwards, called Richard, who you've seen on here before. And yeah, just super exciting, because we've almost wrapped up with season 1 of the podcast, which has been a bit of like a pilot series, testing the waters. We've done it in their office, in a meeting room that they had, at events that they've been to, like all over the place. And season 2 is going to be developed quite a lot, because that podcast studio is going to be, by the sounds of things and by the looks of sort of the idea of it, is going to be sick. So I'm really excited to see that when it's done. And then me and Richard went for breakfast and had a chat about a bunch of different things, and it's been amazing reconnect. So I think I've explained it before, but Richard was an old client, well, DFL were an old client from my previous agency, and then they've come on board with the whole podcasting side of things, and it's been great to reconnect with them all in their entirety, because they're a really lovely company. Anyone that I've met that works there is amazing, but Richard himself has sort of been through the trials and tribulations of running a business, so he's sort of acting as a little bit of a mentor, and we've got a bunch of ideas for a bunch of different things, none of which, I'm going to be really annoying, none of which I can speak about right now, but I promise you that it will make for some pretty frigging cool content in the future. So yeah, watch this space over the next few months. It's going to be really cool. Anyway, so I'm heading back home now, and I am going to have a chat to you about the main content of this vlog. I wasn't meant to be in and out as much. I've actually ended up, and a lot has happened, so I've actually ended up chatting to you more than I thought, but I'll explain when I get home the main subject matter. I was meant to say it earlier on when I touched base, but weirdly, so I had the talk with you about the client that hasn't paid me, and then I got a text from her yesterday like, are you free for a catch up? Bearing in mind I haven't heard from her in like a month or 2 months. Jumped on the phone with her, and she was like, oh, payment should be available in 30 to 45 days. I've heard this before, so I'm going to keep it all in because I don't trust it. But yes, I just thought I'd give you the update while I had it. So anyway, I will see you when I get back to the office, and that's it. Hello everybody. Right, I'm back in my office, and the reason why I wanted to talk so much about this topic is because my audience and the people that I tend to talk to are going to be founders themselves, or want to be founders, and this is something that is so important, but when you're in the whole trenches of everything, it takes the backseat. It's the first thing that I think, well, it's not the first thing to take the backseat, but it does take the backseat. And when also it's not your strongest suit, I put it away. It's like my biggest frog. So I just don't want to do it. So I don't do it. So essentially for the past couple of years, I've relied on my current business, referrals, my close network, etc. And that has been able to build a really good revenue stream for me. However, recently, and I mean, it's summertime, this is going to happen, is a couple of clients, they're not doing too well themselves. They've had to reduce their retainers. As soon as a retainer gets reduced, it's like panic mode. And it shouldn't be panic mode because your pipeline should always be full. And everyone always says it and you're like, yeah, okay, cool. But putting it into action is different. So I spiraled after this conversation of reducing the retainer, and it doesn't mean it's reduced forever. It just means that from September it's reduced. Another client reduced a couple of months ago. So just seeing these numbers sort of change panics me, and I was not sleeping that well. I was just worried about everything, trying to plan and just come up with a solution of what to do next. So thankfully, I've got some amazing people around me, and I just sort of like said everything that was in my head. And I think when you're working so isolated, it's very difficult because you don't get to bounce off of other people. So it was good to get insight from people that are out in the working world every day or have built businesses themselves. And it gave me a plan, and now I feel much better. And I just want to share that plan with you. So we're in July. July is not a good time to be reaching out to businesses because it's holiday season. It's definitely holiday season now. I think it's like the first day of the summer holidays for like most people, either today or this week. So the last thing that they're going to be thinking of is, I need to get a new marketing agency. However, when they come back in September and definitely in Q4, so October, November, December, these companies will be thinking about these things, and that is the good time to reach them. So I need to put in the prep work now. So at the moment I've created a spreadsheet, but I'm probably going to build this within HubSpot and see how it can assist me in that. And essentially I want to look at initially 4 key areas. So my network, so not my clients, but my personal network. Who do my friends work for? Who do my family work for? Do I know anyone that owns any businesses? That's such an easy place to go. And a lot of people you think know what you do. So you think, oh, well, they're going to get in contact with me if they need it. A lot of people have no idea. So sometimes it's good to just reach out or get in front of people in a different way. So that's kind of one angle. You do have upsell of current clients. So I need to look at my client list and see if there's anywhere that I can upsell and add to their monthly retainer. So that's also another kind of quick, easy win. Then I have my ideal client personas, so who I would like to target. And then I need to find people within those businesses and reach out to them, or however I'm going to market to them. I'll talk about the actual like sales technique in a future video because there's a few things that I'm going to do there. So I want to show you in like situ. And then my final one, which is kind of a bit of a hybrid, is interacted with any of the marketing that I've put out. So that could be my newsletters, it could be my social media, people that have connected with me, read an email, clicked through on an email, liked a social post, commented on a social post, that aren't yet a client of mine, because once again that's kind of a nice angle in. So yeah, I've started by creating a spreadsheet, which like I say, I'm going to put into HubSpot most likely, and then the real work comes. So I know that I need to focus on this. I can't just do it for an hour a day and hope for the best. I need to segment a couple of days, for example, of just working on this in a week and then get back to my day job. But that means no emails, no projects, no deliverables, etc. So I need to make sure that I've got a week where I can just focus on that, and that will come up over the next few weeks so I can get it planned. And then in September will be the rollout. So big planning for this month or next month, and then rollout in September. So I will basically keep you posted. It's not really a big chat. It's just a reminder to keep your pipeline full and don't rest on your laurels or whatever it is. Don't think that you're safe because anything can change overnight. And although I'm definitely not in a position where I'm not safe, it's still petrifying seeing the numbers change, and especially in the negative. You want to see them go up. So that's the game plan. And that is it from me rambling for this vlog. So if you watched it till the end, thank you so, so much. If you have any questions, please pop them in the comments. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.